Hey, thanks for joining me today, everyone, at least everyone on YouTube. I am refreshing right now on Rumble. They may be under attack again. Again, they may be under attack. The connection is timing out, so that is not a good sign. Oh, hold on. Yeah, well, perhaps we're only going to be on YouTube today. Yikes. Well, anyway. I will let you know if we ever get live on Rumble. I was all set. I did load it up. We did actually get a couple of comments. John was on there and said, I heard Rumble had a DDoS. That's an attack where they try to overload the system so people can't use the service. And do we have any details on it yet? Well, I did read a tweet this morning from Rumble saying that they thought they had it all worked out, but right now I'm not able to pull it up. So we'll just go live on YouTube, and I'll upload this to Rumble a little bit later. Perhaps. I'm not recording it, so it's going to make it tough. Yikes. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we? It is the 13th of December. That's right. My name's Tom Coffee. Coffee and Nuance is the handle. It's the user ID. That's how you can find me across all the social. And today we're going to talk about availability bias. Yeah. So let's get to it. Oh, apparently Ox is over on Rumble Live. So I'm glad that you were able to get in. Let's see. Oh, we've got some people over there. Good. We're live. All right, we'll do it live. I do need to get that as a clip. That's for sure. So anyway, let's get to availability bias. Imagine this. You turn on the news, and what's dominating the headlines? It's Russian election interference. It's blaring like a broken record on every channel. Yeah. Availability bias strides in confidently and says, look, it's everywhere. It must be the undisputed truth. But hold on, folks. Just because it's hogging the spotlight doesn't mean it's holding the trophy of truth. To uncover reality, we need more than just the same story on repeat. Now, let's briefly bring in the mere exposure effect for a cameo. While availability bias shouts, it's gospel, because it's familiar. The mere exposure effect whispers familiarity isn't proof of authenticity. Now, availability bias acts like a friend who insists a movie is a masterpiece because it's on all the billboards. But as much as marketing matters, a high advertising budget doesn't guarantee an Oscar-worthy film. No, it's like mistaking a billboard for a museum masterpiece. It's not the same caliber. So here's the kicker. When availability bias barges in, waving its banner of familiarity, it's your cue to step into detective mode. Don't just nod along to the familiar tune. Question, probe, demand more than the same old story on loop. Because in a world where information overwhelms us, distinguishing truth from noise is the ultimate power move. My name's Tom Coffee. This is a Coffee Nuance Show. Best censored commentary news show live right now. Flame on. Okay, so we're talking about the availability bias because it is Wednesday, a big idea Wednesday. And this is an idea that I wanted to share with you. It actually came from an email I got from someone who was saying, hey, look at this. Even Trump was surprised that the Russians interfered with the election. And I it brings up this bias. And, you know, it also brings up the, you know, burden of proof. You're kidding me. Come on. It brings up burden of proof. I can't prove something didn't happen. You can't do that. I can't prove to you that I, Tom Coffey, didn't interfere with any election. I can't prove that I didn't do that. Right? The burden of proof is on the people that are making the claim. Okay? So let's keep that in mind with the, and I'm not making any claims either way. Okay? To be fair. Right now, this minute, I'm not, for the purpose of this argument, I'm not making any claims. Okay? I just want to talk about the idea of availability bias and how it affects our thinking. Availability bias, it's our tendency to rely on information that's easily acceptable, frequently repeated when we make our judgments and decisions. It's like when something is repeated in the news, making us think that it's more common or more important than it might be. This bias leads us to overestimate the significance of information that's readily available in our mind, right? So, you know, a common example with this would be like during Shark Attack Week on whatever channel does the Shark Attack Week. All of a sudden, all these people think that there's a whole lot more shark attacks than there actually are in the world because they're seeing it over and over and over again, and they think it's a much bigger deal than it really is. So, on the other hand, I've talked about the mere exposure effect many times on this channel, and that's our increased preference for things simply because we're familiar with them, right? So you see all the advertising for Coca-Cola, you just see it all the time. Well, you're more comfortable with Coca-Cola because you see it all the time. The more we're exposed to something, more we tend to view it positively. It's kind of like you will hear a song. You don't choose to hear the song, but you hear a song over and over and over again, and it grows on you because you're familiar with it. Okay, so that's the difference between the two of them. But in essence, availability bias, it revolves around the accessibility of information. It influences how we judge things, and mere exposure just increases our preference for things. Now, both of these biases show that our minds can be influenced by what's easily available or familiar. And it does totally impact our perception and our decisions on things. So even if you know what's happening, it still works, right? Even if you're aware of it, it still works. But that is the idea of availability bias. Now, on a side note, every time I typed up availability on this script, I kept spelling it wrong. What is that about? I cannot spell that word correctly. Every time I try it, I don't know. It's like, I think it's availability, like an I instead of an A. I don't know why. But yeah. Now, just on a side note for the Russian interference, you know, if the claim is that the Russians interfered in the election, you would say, okay, let's just put this in perspective. What was the influence? Like, what was the outcome of that? Because it would be fair, right? My videos have been seen, I don't know, a couple 100,000 times over the same amount of time. Now, I'm obviously a really small creator, but if I've got a couple 100,000 views, probably I had some influence, right? I'm not saying much. I doubt I changed a single vote, okay? But I guess technically I had some influence on the last election, right? Technically I had some influence on the 2016 election, right? If you want to be technical, right? So the question is, did this Russian interference, did it have more influence than me? Because if it didn't have as much influence in me, I don't really care about it, right? I've demonstrated in past videos where I've actually looked at the evidence, but apparently that doesn't matter to people. One of the actual evidence pieces that came up with the Russian interference was supposedly all of these tweets that were paid for by a Russian marketing company. And there was a couple million of the tweets. And they actually published this. I think it was like University of Cincinnati or something. And I downloaded all of them in a database. And I went through them and I said, well, most of these don't have anything to do with politics at all. They're just random nonsense tweets. And then I did a demonstration on this channel where I had a random number generator that I randomly picked tweets. And I picked 10. And I went through and read each one live. No editing. None of them had anything to do with the election. But that's one of the pieces that they cite as evidence of this Russian interference. Okay, so I'm open to the idea that Russia totally interfered in the election. I've looked at all the evidence that's been presented to me, and it doesn't seem like anything to me. I mean, it seems like nothing. Oh, you posted some memes on Twitter. Okay. You bought some Facebook ads that, of some silly memes, most of which weren't even political in nature. All right? I don't know how that interferes with an election. But we keep hearing these headlines over and over and over again. Most people think, well, I'm hearing the headlines, it's got to be true. And if I'm hearing them over and over again, that must mean that it's a really big deal. That's what availability bias is. We think that something is important just because we hear about it all the time. So anyway, that's the idea for today. I'll talk about that more in the after show. That's after I get through the other stories today. Stick around. I'll be going through all your comments on Rumble and on YouTube. So that'll be cool. But first up, let's get to a little international news. So here we go. Chain-wielding Argentina's new government, led by President Javier Milei, is devaluing its own currency by 50% against the US dollar to address severe economic crisis. This includes significant cuts in public spending, targeting subsidies, freezing government contracts. While the IMF supports these moves, concerns linger about the implementation and the potential short-term fallout, such as increased inflation. Government's shift away from maintaining a strong currency is a departure from past policies, reflecting Milei's promise of substantial spending cuts. The aim is transparency, despite acknowledging the immediate challenges ahead. So here he is, the new president of Argentina, already day one, going in, making things happen, cutting things up. I love this picture with the chainsaw. I didn't even think to do that. I had a chainsaw last week. And it was borrowed, and because it was bigger, it was a big one. I should have done I should have got a picture of me with a chainsaw over my head. I didn't even think to do that. I could use mine, but my chainsaw is tiny. It's like 16-inch bar or something. That's not impressive like this one here. It's probably like a 25-inch bar. Anyway. Yeah, immediately going in, cutting out government agencies that don't add value to the country. This is impressive. This is impressive stuff that's going on. Can you imagine this kind of candidate here that was just saying out loud, I'm going to go in, I'm just going to cut all this stuff that needs to be cut, and it's going to be painful. Some people are going to lose their jobs. Some people are going to lose things, but we got to do this to save the country. Right now, it doesn't look like anyone's trying to save anything, does it? Do you see an American politician that, is actually doing anything to cut spending? What's going to happen in this country when the interest of our debt is greater than the money that we take in each year? What's going to happen then? That's not too it's not too far off. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in Argentina. And the amazing thing is that we'll be able to see, hopefully in a couple of months, if any of this is working out for the better or not. Right? This might be an example of what we could have here. Probably not, but anyway, I got a little local news, and you can transfer that to your local news. So here I am. I live in Multnomah County, Portland, Oregon. Multnomah County Sheriff's Office made its largest fentanyl bust, seizing over 52 pounds of powdered fentanyl along with weapons and cash. Yeah, wow. 52 pounds. It was nearly like 100,000 doses. Whew. I could be wrong. It could be millions of doses. Short-term memory. I don't know. Anyway, the situation turned embarrassing when the alleged local drug trafficking leader, Luis Funes, escaped custody despite being held on previous fentanyl-related charges. Funes, known as Chi, was eligible for release based on present criteria for non-violent offenders without prior convictions. He was supposed to report to pretrial release services, but he failed to do so. Wow, you think if you're facing hundreds of years in prison that you're going to show up for trial? Yeah. The release decision's under review, and officials are investigating coordination issues that led to his release. There are plans to seek federal charges similar to another individual arrested in a separate raid. Currently, Funes is wanting for failing to check in with pretrial release services, and his whereabouts is unknown. Yeah. How about that? How about that? Well, I had it on. There we go. How about that? Did I mention if this guy is an American citizen or not? I mean, does it matter? Does it matter? Well, it might matter. If this guy was illegally here from, say, Honduras or something like that, and he was not legally allowed to be in the country, and he'd been arrested before and released before and never bothered to show up before for trial. This wasn't the first time that he was arrested and released, but being caught with over 50 pounds of fentanyl. You've heard all the rumors about fentanyl that, like, just a little bit on someone's finger can kill you. That's how deadly it is. This is just an example of how, when you have the wrong politicians running things, you're not safe. I don't know. Do you feel safe? Do I feel safe living in a place that they just let somebody out that was caught with 52 pounds of this? Not really. The problem is I think there's a large, like, what do they call it, mass psychosis in Portland, where the majority of people are just, I don't know, I think they're brainwashed, and they keep voting for this garbage. However, I got one more local story. It may explain a lot. So, This should come as no surprise, but a recent poll by Portland's police union revealed a majority of voters feeling the city's on the wrong track due to concerns about crime and safety. Over half would leave if they could afford it. The survey highlights dissatisfaction with public safety and a debate over changes to the Portland Police Accountability Commission. Overall, shows a shift in public opinion and a need for revisiting aspects of police accountability measures. But, yeah. How do you think that you would feel if you lived in a place where the majority of people would leave if they could afford it? That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. Oh, man. And people are like, why are you still there, Tom? Why are you still there? Well, I don't know. I'm hoping that there will be a turnaround and that I will be poised to benefit from when Portland becomes awesome again. So we'll see. We'll see that, and I don't have a better place to go. It's tough when your family lives here. You know, you want to be around your family, but I don't know. If I had a better place to go, I'd probably go. But I get it. But this is just an example that perhaps, maybe trusting the politicians that, in my opinion, made this mess, I don't think they're the same people you can trust to fix it. But that's just me. And we can take this on a bigger picture, and we can look at the problems that we have nationwide. I don't think that you can necessarily trust the people that created the problems to fix the problems. What do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I'll get to that in the after show. Next up, I got something trendy for everybody. People are getting into floor sitting. Yeah. As a healthy switch from chairs. It's said to help flexibility, reduce inflammation. The practice of sitting on the floor, squatting or kneeling, felt physically and psychologically rewarding, offering a smoother experience than a traditional chair. Best part? It's free. Accessible habit that can be done at any age without any extra money. Just a commitment to keep doing it. So, are you ready for the latest trend? Right? Forget the standing desk. No, don't do the standing desk anymore. Don't have the treadmill desk. Don't have the cycling desk. No. Now it's all about sitting on the floor. Now, I can get that at home, but can you imagine going into an office and people have got their laptops and they're sitting on the floor with that awful office carpet in their cubicle? They're just down there, just like... And your boss walks by and they're like, what are you doing on the floor? And you're like, it's good for inflammation. Or at least that's what someone on the internet said. which is why we should do things, right? Hey, I heard about it on the internet, so it's got to be true. I'm hearing all about it. I keep hearing these stories about floor sitting. So therefore, floor sitting must be really, really important. That's availability bias. I'm just bringing us full circle here. Anyways, it's something that you would try. I am not really a floor sitter, although I did get a new rug in my living room. It's very, very thick and probably will require deep cleaning all the time. Probably was a bad idea. But I guess I could sit on it, try it out. So maybe I'll try that. I'll try that when I'm putting together the next show. I'll try sitting on the floor and seeing if I like it any better. I'll see if if it feels like there's less inflammation. I don't know. But I just wanted to bring this to you if you hadn't heard it yet. And just remember, you heard it now. You're going to hear it you're going to hear about floor sitting 3 more times this week out there in the universe. And if you follow this channel for a long time, you know that's the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. We're bringing it all around on Big Idea Wednesday. Anyway, we need some good news, so let's get to the good news of the day. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Google Arts and Culture collaborates with over 1,200 museums worldwide, enabling virtual tours and exhibits of iconic institutions like the British Museum, Guggenheim, Musée d'Orsay in Paris, right? These online experiences offer access to historical artifacts, renowned artworks, allowing people to explore cultural sites from home. Additionally, some museums and national parks provide independent online visits, expanding opportunities for cultural and educational exploration. I think I've talked about this on the channel before of these virtual virtual museum tours. I think this is a Guggenheim, right? Right here, right, New York City. I think that's what that's what it looks like to me. Or same architect. But this is really cool. You can just go on, and in the comments of every video, I will leave a link to every story that I discuss, so you can go back and reference it. In this one, you can check out a link, but you can just go to Google and just go to the arts and, well, just do it. Come on, scroll. Seriously? I'm scrolling. It's not moving. Well. Unreal. Arts and Culture. That's what it is. So you just go to the Google Arts and Culture tab. You can check into these over 1,200 museums and go for a virtual tour. And before the show today, I just went through a virtual tour of some museums that I've been to. And it's pretty cool. Some of them actually have, you know, like the Google view that you can kind of walk through the museum, turn around. You can look at some sculpture and go around it and look at it from all different angles. Really kind of cool. Now, obviously, it's not the same as going to the museum in person. I understand that. But we can't always tour internationally whenever we feel like it. And I think one of the fun things that that you may consider is if you're going to go to a city and they've got a couple of museums there, you could go online, go through the virtual tour beforehand, and then really find out which one you want to go to. You know, it might give you an idea just by looking at it, like, oh, wow, this is a place, this one I really want to go to. And you can see another one and go like, I don't know. Not too impressed. And it may help you choose what to do while you're on vacation, or, you know, if you're on a work trip to a different city, you can preview it beforehand. But also, it's a good reference that you can go back afterwards. And, you know, if there was something that caught your eye, you forgot about it, you can go back. Oh, yeah, I was on the 3rd level of this. And, oh, here it is. And you can check it out. I think this is really fun and interesting. Now, something else that does exist for maybe retired folks, older folks, there are also like some group tours that happen. So it could be an online curated tour. Now, of course, you're just home or, you know, in your elder care center or wherever you happen to be with your iPad. But it is a way that you can also connect with other people and kind of experience things in the world that you might not be able to get to in person. So that's kind of cool. I like the idea of that. Anyway, I encourage you to check it out. Again, it's just on the Google Arts and Culture tab. You can find it pretty easily. But again, in the comments of each video I do, archive links to every story I talk about, so you can check me. You can see if I'm presenting it in a fair and accurate way. That's something. Or if there's an article you want to share, you thought it was interesting, you can go there and share it. Easy to do. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Stick around for the after show. I'll be going through all your comments. Hope you all have a beautiful Wednesday. I'll be back on Friday, which is a Fact Check Friday. Right here, noon on the West Coast, 3 on the East Coast. And Friday night, I will be back with a Midnight Americano, midnight on the East Coast, on this very channel. And hopefully you will see a few more new things to that if you tune in for that. Anyway, hope you all are doing good. See you next time. Peace. Cool. Well, Apothecary John, hashtag Rumble Gang. Yeah, Rumble did have some issues yesterday. The details are they were having a DDoS. Is that dedicated denial of service? I think that's what it stands for. But basically what that means is they set up a bunch of computers to keep trying to go to a particular web page over and over again. So they'll get millions of computers or virtual computers to ping an IP address repeatedly, and so much so that it overloads that particular server, and then you get an error. So that's what was happening. I think there's going to be a lot of that in the future. A lot of, and especially in campaign time, if there's something they don't want you to see, that's one of the techniques that is used to hide information. So, Gonzo, glad to catch you live. I am so glad that you could catch me live. Great to see you. Awesome. So, thanks for joining us. Gonzo's over on Rumble. You can see that on the screen here. Let's go up here. I like the itty-bitty celebration that happens around the like button nowadays. So festive. What is happening with the like button? Does it do a little something extra? I know that on X, when, at least over the weekend, when you would hit the like button, it would do a little animation, which was really fun. But I don't know that they I don't know that they do that on YouTube or not. All messages, everybody. Funnily enough, one of the messages was me asking if you had details about the DDoS. Yeah. I wonder if Rumble was part of the major hack in the U.S. that happened Monday. Perhaps. We a lot of that we don't know. And then once it happens later, nobody cares, right? If we find out the real information, if we find out, hey, remember 6 years ago there was the website was down for a day, we figured out who actually did that. It's gone. Nobody cares anymore. That's kind of what happens. Hey, what's up, Tommy Temper? That's a good name. I like that. I really like the light bulb brain graphic, Tom. Well, thank you. That was Leonardo AI, just an AI graphics program, and I've used them now to try to make kind of more impressive thumbnails. I kept putting in like availability bias and it wouldn't do anything good. And I said, okay, just make it a light bulb with a brain with bright colors. And that's what it came up with. So that turned out pretty well. That's why in a court of law, you are proved guilty or not guilty, not proven innocent. Yeah, exactly. And there are so many narratives that are happening. And I want to be clear that I have actually, looked at a lot of this Russian interference claims. None of it has been compelling for me. I would be interesting. I mean, here's the thing. I believe that Russia did prefer Trump to Clinton, right? That's obvious, right? You've got one guy who says, hey, they ought to be our partner. And you got somebody else that's like, kill, Putin is Hitler. You can understand why they would have a preference, right? I mean, that's pretty obvious. I haven't seen evidence that a single vote was changed because of the Russians. It doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It may have. They may have influenced me. I just haven't seen any evidence of it. And I look at every time they present some evidence, I go into it and I just say to myself, the headline doesn't match the story. The evidence doesn't match the stories about the evidence. And that's the thing. You will see that so often now. And now I know, like, over 90% of people don't actually read an article, right? They read the headline. They might read the first paragraph. That's it. That's what people do. In the same way, the reporting on this Russian interference, I've never seen the actual evidence match up with the headline about it. It's never the same. I'm still open to it to this day. It's been years. I'm still open. I will go and I will look at whatever evidence is presented. But you don't get to just tell me and have me trust you. Okay? That is the same thing as going when Colin Powell held up the little vial at the UN, said Saddam had weapons of mass destruction. Just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. Where's the evidence? Right? Just because you keep repeating that the Russians interfered with the election, where's the evidence? Because if I saw the evidence, I would look at it and I would go, oh, wow, okay, they were right. How about that? Mark this in the column that, the deep state told the truth. It's a very lonely column, but I'm open to it. I really am. Anyway, let's see. Common knowledge bias. Peak Prosperity did a video on that subject. I'll look into that. That looks nice. Why would Putin influence the U.S. to vote Trump when Trump apparently intimidated Putin into not invading anyone while Trump was in office? Look, it was pretty clear to me, if you were Putin and you got two candidates and one, like, it's known, right? It's a fact. I'll say it's a fact that Hillary Clinton, under her direction when she was Secretary of State or whatever, they actually tried to influence the Russian election. Facts. If that were true, which they've said it is, why wouldn't he try to make sure that she didn't become president? Right? Just because someone wants something to be true doesn't mean they can do anything about it. I would like to have an influence on this next election. there's not a whole lot I can do. I can make little videos that get 100 views. Okay? But in the end, if you then turn around and say that Tom was influential in the presidential election, I'd say, well, I don't know. Not really. I mean, did I, can you show that I changed anybody's vote? I don't think you could. And in the same way, I haven't seen any evidence that any of the votes were changed at all. But I'm still open to it. Anyway. Yeah, you should get a photo or a video of Chainsaw Tom. Well, the thing is, I know that chainsaw was returned. It was such a great chainsaw. I don't have my phone on me. I'd remind me. I will show you a picture of me with the chainsaw. I did pose with just holding. Well, no. I held it here, kind of in a phallic way. Because I thought that was funny, but actually, I held it down here, and then my friend who was taking the picture said, "Oh, it looks kind of phallic," and then I was like, "Oh yeah, it does. Let's do that." But that's the only picture that I got with it. Waiting for half of Portland to go vigilante. I hope things don't go vigilante. That would be really scary. That'd be a really scary thing. Regarding the gold tea mural of Tiger Woods from the previous show, can the teeth of a chainsaw be removed? If so, maybe you can use them to make a mural of Malay. That's a really good idea. Actually, hang on 2 seconds here. You may be thinking, Tom, what are you doing with a chainsaw right by your desk? It's because I bought some new. Now, see, you can see that how tiny the chainsaw that I have. I have like two. They're like 16-inch bars, so they're not very big. But it doesn't look like I can take these apart. It looks like they've been put together with a machine, but it, so it's kind of like a bike chain, but I don't think that I could take it apart easily. But that's a good idea. That is a good idea. I like that. And I don't know why I'm hanging on to this thing. I just had it in a little box of a bunch of stuff I need to figure out what I'm doing with it. I don't know why I just don't throw it away though. I mean, it's dull. It's a dull chain. Why am I holding on to it? That's dumb, And just an example, we live in such a disposable society. It's way cheaper just to order new chains than it is to sharpen it. The sharpener costs more than a bunch of replacement chains. Additionally, sharpening a chainsaw chain is hard. It takes a long time. It's just a lot easier to just order another chain. It's terrible. Terrible for the environment, terrible all around, but I don't know, that's just kind of the world we live in today. I suppose you'd have to paint the teeth, unless you can find some with various metallic shades. And no, it is a good thought though. I like it. Well, someone has his noggin jogging. Great idea. I like the idea though. Golf tee, not gold tee. I knew what you meant. My butt falls asleep when I sit on the floor too long. However, one's ability to get up from the floor is a good indicator of aging gracefully or not. I actually did see that. I think it's just yesterday on if you can sit on a floor. I guess now the kids say crisscross applesauce. When I was a kid, they called it Indian style, but I guess you don't use that term anymore. But you sit with your legs crossed, and then if you can stand up without bracing yourself or pushing off on anything, that they say that's a good indicator of mobility. Um, we had network issues on Monday too. Okay. Yeah, I think that there was a lot going on Monday. I really like the Aloha shirt you were wearing today, Tom. Good to know you're secure enough in your manhood to wear pink. Well, it's got a little pink. It's got a little pink. It's got more maroon than pink. But I don't know. I kind of like all colors. I never really got that thing. I've always kind of liked pink. I think I had like a pink polo shirt in high school just because I thought it was kind of obnoxious. But, you know, sometimes you're looking for attention. You want to stand out. And, you know, often today it's just a sea of black T-shirts. You know, you go to the bar, everyone's wearing a black T-shirt. I did go to a disc golf tournament where they had like a national tournament, and there was hundreds of people just kind of following around the disc golf people around the course. Much like in a golf tournament, you see the crowd and they're just like following a group of the players. And man, here in Portland, everyone wears dark colors. Everyone wears dark colors. I had this like baby blue jacket on, and I'm looking around and everyone had like black. Everyone had black. I stood out so much because literally, I don't know, 3/4 of the people there had black jackets, and then everyone else had like a dark colored jacket. Yeah. I don't know. But thanks for the compliment on the shirt. I appreciate it. My YouTube like does a small animation when clicked. Oh, that's cool. I did not know that it did that. Let me see. Now I'm watching my own video. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Can I even click like? Well, that would be if the. Now what did I see about? Oh, here. Oh, I missed this one. Tom, did you ever do it at Kimball Art Museum when you were in DFW? Rumor has it that it is actually one of the most prestigious museums, believe it or not. Yeah, I've been to Kimball Art Museum. That was great. Great, for sure. It says, YouTube keeps switching from all messages to top messages. Well, so what I did here at, you know, I can choose here live chat or top chat, right? But I'm just choosing live chat for the little video here. But yeah, every time I go to it now, it defaults to top chat. Weird. I don't know. I'm not in charge of that. So anyway, that's all I got today. I just wanted to talk about the availability bias and some other issues. I think it's an important idea. Just because you hear it all the time doesn't necessarily mean it's a big deal. Could be, though. It could be. So anyway, I'll be back on Friday. Hope to see you then. And if you made it this far, yeah, go ahead, smash the like button. See if it makes the little a little animation. That would be good. So, anywho, we'll see you next time. Until then, peace.